Afghanistan's territory should not be used to spread terror. No country should take advantage of the situation in Afghanistan and use it for its own selfish interest, Prime Minister Modi says at the UNGA. India's Prime Minister pitches for homegrown COVID vaccines at the UNGA, invites vaccine manufacturers to India. The new Punjab cabinet to take oath on Monday. Some captain loyalists may be dropped. The Chief Minister meets the governor with a list of names. From Bihar, Shubham Kumar, who topped the toughest exam in the country, who says his dream to serve the underprivileged has been realized, to Anil Bosak, an IIT Delhi graduate whose father makes a living selling clothes on a bicycle. Meet India's dream chasers. And a sneak peek into India's longest bridge that is taking shape in Mumbai, a 21-kilometer long Trans-Harbour link to be completed by 2023. Top story at this hour: in a pointed speech by Prime Minister Modi addressing the UNGA with plain speak on terrorism, India's role in COVID-19 vaccine production and delivery, the current Afghanistan situation, and India's strength as a democracy.
When India grows, the world grows. When India reforms, the world transforms.
A fiery Prime Minister Modi began his speech by highlighting the colossal impact of the COVID-19 pandemic worldwide, following it up with an invitation to vaccine manufacturers around the world.
His Excellency Narendra Modi.
मैं आज दुनिया भर के वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को भी आमंत्रित करता हूं. Come, make vaccine in India.
He also used the world stage to announce another Indian COVID-19 vaccine besides Covaxin that is currently in the pipeline.
एक और mRNA वैक्सीन अपने डेवलपमेंट के आखिरी चरण में है. भारत के वैज्ञानिक कोरोना की एक नेजल वैक्सीन के निर्माण में भी जुटे हैं. हमें इस बात के लिए भी सतर्क रहना होगा.
Clean energy, the dangers of regressive thinking and extremism, and a push for a rule-based world order were key concerns the Prime Minister highlighted in his fourth speech at the UNGA. He also warned against selfish motives in Afghanistan, adding that the war-torn country should not be used to breed terrorism.
ये सुनिश्चित किया जाना बहुत जरूरी है कि अफगानिस्तान की धरती का इस्तेमाल आतंकवाद फैलाने और आतंकी हमलों के लिए न हो. हमें इस बात के लिए भी सतर्क रहना होगा कि वहां की नाजुक स्थितियों का कोई देश अपने स्वार्थ के लिए एक टूल की तरह इस्तेमाल करने की कोशिश न करें.
In his speech, he also made a dig at Pakistan, a day after India gave a strong response to Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, bringing up the Kashmir issue at the UNGA.
जो देश आतंकवाद का पॉलिटिकल टूल के रूप में इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, उन्हें ये समझना होगा कि आतंकवाद उनके लिए भी उतना ही बड़ा खतरा है.
Switching tracks to climate change, Prime Minister Modi asserted that ocean resources should be used and not abused, with a veiled warning that oceans must also be protected from the race of expansion and exclusion.
हमारे समंदर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार की लाइफलाइन भी है. इन्हें हमें एक्सपांशन और एक्सक्लूजन की दौड़ से बचाकर रखना होगा.
A fiery Prime Minister Narendra Modi also used the global stage, in a sense, to talk about India's development trajectory, claiming that we are moving forward on the path of integrated, equitable development with the principle of leaving no one behind. He also had some advice to the United Nations, which has come under criticism from many countries for not adapting to changing times. He quoted the famous Indian philosopher Chanakya to say that change has to be accommodated within a specified time to stay relevant. Parmeshwar Bava, NDTV.
And according to India's Foreign Secretary, in all the meetings of Prime Minister Modi, there was suo motu recognition of the concerns that Pakistan is nurturing cross-border terrorism.
All the meetings the Prime Minister had, beginning with US leadership, there was suo motu recognition of the concerns that Pakistan represents as a country that has in many senses both supported and nurtured cross-border terrorism, including in Afghanistan and from Afghanistan. There was a sense that that situation needs to be watched very carefully, and that the international community needs to ensure that Pakistan fulfills its obligation as a member of the Committee of Nations in its basic obligations, that it does not in any way work against the detriment of its neighbors or any other country in the world.
And India's first secretary at the UN gave a blistering retort to the Pakistani Prime Minister at the UN General Assembly after he raked up the Kashmir issue in his address to the high-level session, continuing with the tradition of India's young diplomats taking on Pakistani leaders at the annual event.
While such statements deserve our collective contempt and sympathy for the mindset of the person who utters falsehood repeatedly, I am taking the floor to set the record straight. Regrettably, this is not the first time the leader of Pakistan has misused platforms provided by the UN to propagate false and malicious propaganda against my country, and seeking in vain to divert the world's attention from the sad state of his country, where terrorists enjoy free pass while the lives of ordinary people, especially those belonging to the minority communities, are turned upside down.
And the Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi has finalized the names for his cabinet. NDTV has learnt this after discussions with Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Channi, who took over as the Chief Minister on Monday, had visited Delhi thrice and Sisoth to discuss the cabinet overall. 15 ministers in the new cabinet are likely to take oath on Sunday. The Chief Minister also met with the governor.
ਅਸੀਂ ਗਵਰਨਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ 4:30 ਵਜੇ ਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਰ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਹੁੰ ਚੱਕਣਗੇ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
And the Communist Party of India leader Kanhaiya Kumar and the independent Gujarat MLA Jignesh Mevani are set to join the Congress early next week. NDTV has learnt, and the news of Mr. Mevani and Mr. Kumar's unexpected joining underscores the Congress's attempts to push to recruit young and dynamic faces ahead of state elections next year and, of course, the general elections in 2024. And the Delhi Police Crime Branch has now taken over the case of a shootout inside a courtroom in Rohini on Friday, in which jailed gangster Jitendra Man alias Gogi was killed along with his 2 assailants.
Officers of the Delhi Police Crime Branch at the Rohini Court investigating the shootout and the conspiracy behind it that resulted in the killing of gangster Jitendra Gogi. The FIR registered on the complaint of Sub-Inspector Veer Singh, who was present inside the courtroom with Gogi, states that when the gangster was produced in the courtroom 207 before the judge around 1:10 p.m. on Friday, 2 men dressed as lawyers opened fire at Gogi, and in retaliation to prevent further loss of lives, the police personnel fired and killed the 2 assailants, who were later identified as Rahul and Jagdeep from the rival Tillu gang.
ये बहुत बड़ा शॉकिंग था और इससे अनफॉर्चुनेट मैं कहूँगा कि अगर क्रिमिनल अंदर घुस के कोर्ट रूम में घुस के ये हरकत कर सकते हैं तो आम शहरी इससे टेरराइज है और उससे सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न है।
To prevent any possibility of a gang war inside jails, especially where associates of Gogi are lodged, all Delhi jails have been put on alert and security beefed up there. Police personnel have also been deployed at Jitendra Gogi's village in Alipur.
तो क्या चाहते हैं जी, देखो कार्रवाई हो इस मामले में, ये करते हैं एक आदमी जो मारे गए किसके आदमी ये कौन.
On the call of bar councils of all district courts in the national capital, lawyers abstained from work for a day in protest against the security lapse at the Rohini court. Members of the bar council also met the Delhi Police Commissioner Rakesh Asthana, seeking increase in security at the court complexes across the city and measures to prevent such incidents in future.
हमने सीपी साहब से मिलके ये बतलाया कि क्या-क्या सिक्योरिटी लैप्सेस हैं, उनके कैमरास, उनके डिटेक्टिव मेटल डिटेक्टर, उनके जो वहाँ पे पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स हैं, ऑल आर एट फॉल्ट. तो हमने उनको ये रिक्वेस्ट की है कि अकाउंटेबिलिटी तय करें.
Taking note of the firing inside the courtroom and expressing deep concern, Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana has spoken to Chief Justice of Delhi High Court D.N. Patel, advising him to speak to bar and police to ensure the functioning of the court is not affected. With Mukesh Singh Sengar and camera person Ashok Mahale, this is Aravind Gunasekar for NDTV.
And the Assam Chief Minister was asked about the horrific violence during an eviction drive in Assam's Darang district, visuals of which sparked nationwide outrage. He claims that the images from the police firing that went viral do not give out the full picture.
State government has very clear intelligence report that from the poor and landless family, certain people has collected 28 lakhs rupees during last 3 months, saying that we are going to convince government and there will be no eviction. We have those names. Now, when they could not resist the eviction drive, they mobilized those people and created the havoc on that particular day. We have name of 6 people.
2 days after India was shocked by this viral video of a lathi-wielding villager being shot dead at point-blank range by the police, and then his body stomped all over by a government-hired photographer. It emerges that a 12-year-old child was also killed in the police firing.
My request to the national media,
However, the Assam Chief Minister is shooting the messenger, accusing the national media of being one-sided. Amidst criticism from Congress and other opposition parties, the CM claims a force instigated the horrific violence in Gorukhuti and Dholpur.
I have explained to Congress legislature party when they came to meet me. They also agreed that yes, for the first time, government has taken a stand. So, my request to the national media, you cannot take side of certain people without going into the detail.
At Gorukhuti, where the evictions were taking place, locals admit that the land they are living on is government land, but have serious questions for the administration to answer.
ये सही है कि सरकारी ज़मीन है. सरकार को मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि आप लोग तुरंत जो भी क्षति हो गया है पब्लिक को तुरंत वो व्यवस्था कर दीजिए कि ये लोग जिंदा तो रहे भाई कम से कम.
हाँ तो ये कितना उठाई एक लोग बांधी वाले ले जावा वाला है किंतु हिटू नौकरी वाले ही किंतु बोले कि जे गुली करी माने मारी ले.
Watchers say encroachments have begun in 1994 and successive ruling governments have turned a blind eye.
Since 1994, officially the encroachment operations had begun. They are supported by the local politician, that be whichever party he may belong to, AGP, Congress, BJP. They wreak havoc upon the local population. There are murders which have happened.
While land encroachment in Assam is a reality, the fact that hundreds every year lose their land to erosion cannot be ignored either. With camera person Sanjay Chakravarti in Sipajar, Ratndeep Chaudhary in Guwahati for NDTV.
And as the CBI took over the probe into the death of Narendra Giri, a religious leader who died allegedly by suicide on Monday in UP, a 6-member team was sent to Prayagraj on Saturday morning, the topseer was found dead at his ashram in the city. On Monday, the UP government had recommended a CBI probe in the case, and the CBI took over the case yesterday, and its teams began investigating on the ground today. And 3 sanitation workers died after inhaling toxic gases while repairing an underground sewage tank in Singrauli. 2 men entered the tank. They immediately fainted. The private contractor who employed them then forced the third person to climb down into the tank. 3 workers were eventually pulled out and rushed to hospital, where they were declared brought dead. And a meeting of the Congress party in Tamil Nadu Sivaganga district descended into chaos after people started fighting inside a room where party workers and leaders had gathered to discuss plans for a local body election. The Congress MP Karthi Chidambaram, the son of the former Union Minister P. Chidambaram, was also present at the meeting. Sivaganga is the Lok Sabha constituency of Karthi Chidambaram. In visuals that emerged from this meeting, 2 men can be seen hurling plastic chairs near the door of the hall and chasing others away. The fight happened between 2 factions of the local Congress unit. The police say they took control of the situation and cleared out the room. And according to the Indian Met Department, the deep depression over the northwest and adjoining West Central Bay of Bengal has moved westward and has now intensified into a cyclonic storm, a storm that's called Storm Gulab. It now lays centered at 17:30 hours IST, that is today at 5:30. Mumbai is now going to see a massive jump in the time that it takes to get to Thane, with a 21-kilometer long bridge being constructed across the Thane Creek. Here's a ground report.
Today we bring you an exclusive sneak peek into this massive infrastructure project, a project that will make conveyance between Mumbai and Navi Mumbai a completely different experience. It'll transform the entire region. It'll be an engine of development. And as the project takes shape, joining me now is Mr. SVR Srinivas, MMRDA Commissioner, who's trying very hard to speed up the project even more. So people have been thinking, talking, envisaging, planning 35 years. Finally, this road across the sea, 21 kilometers, taking shape. What are the challenges now that it's in this advanced stage of construction?
Thank you, Saurabh. And first, let me tell you one thing. It is the longest seam bridge in Indian history, connecting Mumbai to rest of MMR. And it is costing nearly about 18,000 crores. So that is the size we are looking at. And this has been, as you said, more than 35 years in the offing. Now the challenges are manifold. One is rehabilitation of several project affected persons, which we are doing. In fact, next 10 days or so we are going to rehabilitate another 80 families, even at this stage. Second is environmental clearances were a big challenge. In fact, about 10 days back we got a new environmental clearance for the kerosene jetty in the Mumbai side, about 10 days back. So clearances are an issue, but that have been sorted out now with the help of the state government, with the environment minister pitching in. It has been sorted out. And the challenges are, most important are the construction challenges. Because of this size and scale, it has never been done in Indian history, Indian construction history. So the construction challenges are many, and certain new things we are trying to introduce here. So that is another thing I will be able to tell you if you are interested. Yeah.
Right now, to reach that space, it takes 2.5 hours minimum on a good day of traffic.
Yes, if you are lucky.
If I am lucky. With this bridge, how long?
About 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. Yeah, 15 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes.
Yes, maximum. Originally, this was supposed to be a metro also on this, but somehow that was not done. But the construction has started. If you have a metro, a transit system on a project of this scale, the benefits will be 4x to 10x. A common man can also use it, not only car owners. At the same time, Metro is very important. So we are examining the technical feasibility because the foundations are already done. So we are working with the technical consultant. It is possible to do metro. And at the same time, we are also examining very seriously to do a BRT or a dedicated bus lanes for this first 5 years of this MTHL project.
A mega project that will transform the development of not only Mumbai but also Navi Mumbai